Live from the happiest place in the Lone Star State. Welcome back to the Talking Mickey Project. TMP is your home for Disney fans of all abilities. Now, it's your host, Emma.
Welcome, Mr. Brian and Mr. Todd to my go.
Thanks, Emma.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Glad to join you. I love that we all got great T-shirts on today.
Yes.
All
Yay.
celebrating
I can
something
do
down
this.
there.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Dinosaur
look at that.
Bertie and
Stand up, but I can do that. I'm Emma's mom, Melissa, Brian. So I'm just the co-pilot right now.
Emma, pilot
chaperone.
and Falcon here. Yeah.
Let me show this to Mr. Brian. This is how old Kevin and I are.
Oh, you were there for the Tencennial.
We marched it. We were one of the high school bands who marched it.
How many high school bands did they have?
That I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
We were. I don't know if they had one every day.
yeah, I think it was one every day, is my recollection.
Well,
now.
we were there in it was winter of 82.
Okay.
Like February 82, something like that. I can't remember, it was before or after Mardi Gras season, but it was somewhere around there.
What a heady
So-
time to be there.
Oh, yes. Are you ready?
Oh,
All right. You got the clicker. Come on.
oh.
So we got a lot of
Well,
questions, Brian. So we've got to warm up.
All right, I'm ready.
When did you became a Disney fan, and what is your first Disney park memories?
Oh my goodness. That's a
Do we
gr-
want
that's
to
a
go in
great
alphabetical
question.
order? We'll go Brian, then
We'll go
Todd.
Brian. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, Disney fans from birth, right? Like just in general, because I had a record album, a 33 and a third record album of Disney's children's favorites, which and things like that were on there. So I listened to that. And for Disney parks, well, there's two answers. 10 years before I ever went to a Disney park, my Aunt Anne went to Walt Disney World, and she brought me back a Mickey Mouse, which I still have from Disney World. And that same year, I got a Mickey Mouse talking telephone for Christmas. And you would dial the number, and Mickey and Minnie and Goofy would talk to you, and Donald. And so from like that then on, I like really wanted to go to Disney World. And I finally got to do that in January 1988 when I was 14 years old. So, and I fell in love with Epcot Center and Magic Kingdom and have been in love with it ever since.
Communicore.
I loved Communicore. Spaceship Earth was really like just so big and so massive and blew me away that everything else in Epcot, like that set the stage as I moved into Communicore and then into Horizons and Imagination and all the songs. It was just the whole thing overwhelmed me and I loved it.
Cool.
So for me, it's funny. It almost a similar way. My grandparents visited in 1972, and I was not born yet, but they brought back with them a little Mickey and Minnie doll that I later received. And when they did go again after I was born in 1975, they brought back another doll. It was this Big Mickey. I don't know. There's a picture of me sitting next to it. So my first trip was in 1981, and we stayed at the tree house, and I have a memories of staying there at the original tree houses. I have memories of driving a boat. Probably some of them are a little more of the photographs in the album making my
Right.
memories than truly remembering them at 6 years old. But I did go back and the but that, like Brian, that's where I just got sucked into Epcot. It was such a fantastic place for the time period, and fell in love with that. Communicore, absolutely, Emma. That was one of my favorites, and I would drag my grandparents around from Spaceship Earth to World of Motion and to Horizons, and we do it all over again. And then the next day we'd probably do it all over again. And don't worry, Brian, I got the land and the real Figment in as well. So
Look, Roadrunner, and the Road Snyder.
yeah, Ryan Schneider, he's a good guy. He's the one
our,
original.
yeah, our buddy.
Yep.
Well, she interviewed him. He was one of the first 10 interviews she did for her channel.
Oh, excellent.
He is very generous with his time and sharing memories with fans like us. So we're lucky to have him.
Cool.
Oh,
Okay. Next.
speaking of Figment and Green Diner, guess how old the Journey to Imagination is turning next year?
Next year, Journey into Imagination will turn 40.
Yep. You
That's
need to do something with Green Diner again.
We're gonna have to have an over the hill party for it. That's what they used to do for people when they turned 40. Nobody
right.
does that anymore, but
No.
No.
No, and I'm way over the hill. So
well, I guess depends on how far you want to go, but yeah, we're getting
I'll
there.
be 56 this year. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Todd and I are a couple months apart, so
Yep.
I turned 48 a few months before he did.
okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm catch up. One of these years I'm going to catch him. I don't know
Yes.
when, but I will.
Free to pass me at your earliest.
That's
convenience.
right. Hey,
I know. I'm
I know
sorry.
that's
I'm
being
scaring y'all.
so they're not
No.
scared. Read the number 2.
Okay. Not the topic time. What led you to create
Buena.
Vista Historical Society, and what is it?
Awesome. That's a great question. So
You
I'll
get to go first.
I'll get to go first. I'll tell you a little history of how we got here, and then Brian was. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. So it's a long story to get where we are today, but it starts back in the late 80s and early 90s, and in my young adolescence, I decided to write a travel guide to Disney World that I then started to sell through my years in college, and I created a website when that was barely a thing to do, and I sold it on websites. And it really was a way I really learned a lot of Disney history and loved it. I was poring over annual reports and looking at what was coming up. After college, I had a family and started going back down to Walt Disney World and stumbled across my grandparents' old films and photographs. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be great if I created a website for old memories, not necessarily all the new stuff? And the other website that I had just wasn't doing well. And I said, I'm not interested in new stuff anymore. So I created a website, got going in around 2012. And about a year or so later, I restored one of my grandparents' films that I was digitally converted, and I made it look all nice and fixed the colors. And a lot of people caught wind of it, and Brian saw it and commented, and then there was a odd comment that he says, oh, I've got a film. And I said, hey, send it to me. I'll restore it. So we became film buddies pretty quickly and started trading stories. And JT was already, I met him somewhere else, and he was already writing for my website and putting articles up on it. And people started to interview me about the website. I said, well, I got to do my own podcast if people are interviewing me. So I asked Brian and JT, and I forget how came into the picture. he was. I think just asked him because he was
Yeah.
commenting on tweets and stuff.
We need it as a smart person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Exactly. So we were doing that for about 4 or 5 years, and then Brian said, "Hey, we need to do this a little smarter and a little better, and a way to leave a legacy in the historical aspect." And he had this idea of creating a historical society where we could accept donations and keep all the artifacts and things we're finding. So I'll let Brian take the story from here, and he was the smarts behind it. So
Well, we were doing events in Florida where we would bring folks like John Schneider and other Disney celebrities in the past, people who had worked in and for the parks. And it's just from a practical standpoint, if you're a nonprofit organization, it makes it a lot easier to do those kinds of things.
Right.
And we weren't in this to make money or supplement our income or do anything like that. We don't run a travel agency or anything like that. So it just made sense to take advantage of the opportunity. There was that piece was missing. There was no nonprofit citizen organization made up of just people, not Disney company, who was out there trying to capture some of the stories. And Disney's very good at Imagineers and some of the folks who played major roles in the parks and in the company. And we were finding, I was a somebody was a carpenter when they built Cinderella Castle, or someone who's a painter who painted signs for the different lands and we found that they all knew little things and their stories needed to be preserved.
Mhm.
And so our mission kind of changed a bit from just being people who shared movies, and then eventually doing podcasts where we were talking about a different attraction or show from the past every month, to where we've tried to become a resource for people who are interested in learning about, things that you won't find on the Disney website, some things that aren't in books, and trying to preserve some of those stories and have a place for people to go to see a lot of old park pictures, a lot of old park films and home videos. And for a while there, we were, especially during the pandemic, we were restoring parades. So on like Easter morning and Christmas morning, we were sharing restored videos of parades that they would run on Christmas morning, like 30
wow.
years ago. And you'd be shocked how much, there were hundreds of people across the country watching with us and tweeting at us and posting on Facebook. Oh, well, my whole family watched this parade this morning with me. So that's a lot of fun. So we've it's grown, and we've got big ideas for the future of
Ooh.
events we want to hold and people we want to interview, and really it's just trying to snatch little pieces of park history and that might be forgotten about and bring them to people now.
Cool.
Oh, I forgot to mention to you, I know it's going to be on the recording. I got to mention before we started. We're actually going to be playing this tomorrow night.
Oh, perfect.
I told him this.
Oh,
I told
yeah?
Todd, yeah.
We'll watch it.
Ryan wasn't on yet.
No, I was on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're giving your dad a lot of things to edit now. You don't want to do that, Emma. Make
No.
the man work.
It's just going to continue to play.
Oh, all right. We'll just play it. Easy enough. Easy enough.
All right, number 3.
Okay. What is the LVVHS mission? How are you funded? And who is involved with it?
Well, the mission is to preserve the history, and that's stories, physical artifacts, things from the parks, stories of people who work there, forgotten documents, anything like that, of everything that happened in the area that is now Walt Disney World Resort, which was the Reed Creek Improvement District in Orange and Osceola counties in Florida. So everything that now makes up the 43 square miles, if it happened on that land during the time that Disney owned it, we're interested in preserving it. we're funded entirely by donations, by people who either donate in support of us in order to get. We've done Christmas ornaments and posters and other kinds of keepsakes, much the same way that like public television does, where a certain level of donation and you get one of those things in return. And sometimes people just donate out of the goodness of their hearts. And one time we did a platinum movie night. We were doing the live stream movie nights, which we're due to do another one again. Summer magic movie nights at some point this summer, because we have a lot of films to share. But we would show the films on a live stream, but with us commenting and chatting in between. And so we had a platinum movie night where we had some really rare stuff, and folks donated to watch it. It's entirely funded by people and supporters from around the world. I can't even say around the country. We get donations from all over the world. And who's involved with it? Well, initially it was the four of us. Hal Bowers, who's not with us tonight, and JT Kuzer, who's not with us tonight, with Todd and I, kind of at the outset. And we're very lucky. We have it's not a fantastic four, it's like a fantastic 20. We have about this core group of about 20 people who, when we're doing events, help us and participate and help run the thing. And they have all just volunteered. They've contacted us over the years, and we have other people who've asked to help us. Sometimes it's hard to corral and give everybody things to do. Because it is, we all have lives outside of this. It's a civic,
right.
I don't call it a hobby because we take it more serious than a hobby.
Right. But it's not a full time.
Unfortunately venture. Not. Although sometimes it seems like it.
Kevin would say, yes, it is a full-time thing for like him.
It does feel like it when you got episodes and movie nights and things coming in and donations. I got stuff under the desk to send out. I mean, there's a great core group. We also have a nice set of volunteers that have really come in and started to help us on sporadic projects. And we're always looking for people to help. We've got a couple great long-term projects we want to do. It's never ending. So
awesome. Impressed? Yeah.
I do have a few questions.
Okay. Is it related to this one?
It's about the archive.
Sure.
The archives. Yeah, what do you got?
Are y'all thinking of adding some more stuff like Animal Kingdom when it first opened?
Ah.
Oh.
Number
That's
4
okay.
kind of relates to this.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Our podcasts go the exact same way when we record them. So
go ahead, show it. Number 4.
Contract on the same age as Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom opened up 12 days after she was born.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's why she's interested in Animal Kingdom.
Sure. So how do we obtain them and maintain? So there are 4 basic ways.
I forgot to say it.
It's okay. They read it.
That's okay.
Oh.
I will add in the Animal Kingdom answer for it. Don't worry. We got you.
So you ready for the answer?
Is it okay I read it first?
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know about right.
We a creature of habit. Go ahead.
Your audio is
Visual.
visual. Did I pronounce it correct?
Yes, visual.
Archives are full of hard-to-find images, videos, and audio tracks. How can you obtain them, and how do you maintain them for the future?
Good.
That is a fantastic question. And a lot of people don't ask us off. So I you did. Obtaining and maintaining them are 2 of the hardest things. You would think that they're easy to get, and they're not. Obtaining comes from a couple of different places. We have people who donate them some films or cassettes or audio tapes. Some donate their own personal home movies, laser discs, all different types of media.
Photographs. Yeah.
And we also scour the auction sites, not just eBay, but the larger sites that are doing auctions on memorabilia. There's a lot of Disney Imagineers and people who worked for Disney over the years that are retiring and are cleaning their house and holding auctions and all the things that they've had over the years. So we keep an eye on those, and with the money that we've been able to obtain from donations and stuff, that helps pay for those. And maintaining it is tough. There's two or three sides of this. One is preserving the physical media that we get, the tape or the film. Then there's converting it to digital and storing that somewhere safe, whether it's in the cloud or we have a large multi-hard drive system that stores it with redundancy. And then also, how do you then share it with the public so that they can see it? So there's really multiple ways of, getting it, and also then multiple ways of protecting it and maintaining it. JT has the special copy of the hard drive. There's another copy of that offsite, unbeknownst to anybody, location in Canada, just in case. Things are stored. Yeah, things are stored in the cloud just in case. So it's a great question, and I will say to any listener or watcher out there who's viewing this, if you do have videotape or film or slides or any media of a trip down there, by all means, send it in. And we also sometimes just get anonymous stuff, just random emails. Hey, thought you might like to see this.
It happened today. We had a guy ask for an address to send 90 slides from his early 1990s family visit, and I gave him my address and said, send it over and I'll scan it and we'll get it back to you. So
I would love to be able to put my hands on when your daddy and I went in December of 97. The Skyway was still open. And this is my first trip to Magic Kingdom since 1982 with the school. Okay. And I went to ride Skyway. And I recorded that whole thing, of course, being, complete amateur at everything, classic tourist doing a thing, but I don't think y'all would have to bleep out some of the commentary by her daddy.
But daddy, bad language.
Not really bad language, but he kept telling me, don't shake the thing, don't move, stay still.
They're beautiful in theory, but when you ride them, especially those open air ones and a lot of amusement parks, it's scary.
I had a blast, but I had to sit still.
Yeah.
I rode the Skyway. I know what the Skyview.
No, the Skyliner.
Skyliner, right?
We did the Skyliner last year.
Yeah, I rode the Skyway at Great Adventure, Six Flags Great Adventure, which is in New Jersey, and the pylons for it that carry the thing are from the original 1964 World's Fair.
Oh my goodness! Now you owe me a diet.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5.
What are some of your favorite archive images, videos, or soundtracks, and why?
Well, I know what Todd's answer is going to be.
You do, huh?
I think I do. I think I do.
We'll save it, right?
I think it has to do with amphibious creatures, but some of my favorites are what when we first got movie footage of the Florida Orange Bird character meeting in Adventureland with guests back in the early 70s. That was
cool.
Really, really neat to find, and it was a good minute and a half clip of the Orange Bird interacting with guests and kind of getting to see that, because it's a character I never got to see in the parks.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is a favorite. And I have a particular favorite set of slides in around 1973 or 4. Someone who must have been some kind of food executive went and did an entire roll of 36 photographic slide pictures of food service locations and menu boards like Tomorrowland Terrace and a drink stand in Adventureland, and just really not something that people would in the days of film when you had to meter out the pictures that you took would take pictures of at the time. And so, I mean, there were actual pictures inside the Crystal Palace when it was a buffet and like the cash register and it's just really, it's a very, very neat thing that if I had a time machine, it's the kind of stuff I would go back and take pictures of to preserve for posterity. So those are two of my favorites.
Right, Todd?
Well, Brian was heading, he steered me towards an aquatic thing. So he must have been thinking I was going to go for like the bob around boats or maybe the Eastern Winds or something like that, or we don't have anything for the wave machine.
That don't exist anymore.
Yeah. I think the ones that we've uncovered are the ones that I enjoy the most, are the ones with the mysteries on it. Brian will get a slide or I'll get a film. Maybe it's one particular thing with that, but I love the mysteries that come with it. We will say, what's that? And we zoom in and we try to read something or try to figure out. There's also one particular slide. It's not, I think we have in our collection, we don't own the slide, but of a shop at the Polynesian. And you want to just walk into that store. And I want to use the vintage postage stamp machine. I want to look into that case. So it's, for me, it's like looking back and recalling those things. I mean, and I would be amiss if I didn't say my favorite film of all time that I've restored are the ones from my family, in the 70s and when my parents went before me. Those by far, it's my heritage of going down there essentially. So.
I really thought Todd was going to say, as we got the first footage of the working Jungle Cruise frogs.
Oh yes, which was my grandfather. It was my grandfather's film,
which was only in the ride for the first year that it was open. The first year the park was open. And we were the first ones to put out there working footage of the frogs with their mouths going up and down. Now
they're back, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing back to the 50th?
No. They have them in Walt Disney World. We saw them, but they're stationary. They don't move or anything.
Oh,
but they don't ribbit.
Right. They don't ribbit. But a big moment for Todd, I know, was when Disney asked for permission to include a still frame of the frogs from our collection in the 2-volume set on Mark Davis, who was the Imagineer who designed the Jungle Cruise. So.
Did you get any?
No. Just the love and recognition. That's all.
That's right. That's all we needed for that.
In the credits, y'all listed in the credits.
We are listed in the credits.
Perfect.
Yes. We've made it to the credits of that book and the Walt Disney World 50th Anniversary Cookbook. We made it into that one for the handbook.
I don't have that yet.
It's terrific. I don't have it here, so it's over there. But it's a terrific book.
Yeah, it is. It's.
I might have to pick that up when we go in end of September. Number 6.
Okay. Well, you are not
affiliated
with the Walt Disney Company anyway.
Well,
have you had an opportunity to collaborate with them in any way?
Which goes back to the last
question.
About.
Yeah.
Disney reaching out to y'all for that stationary photo of the frogs.
Yep.
So we got to do that for the frogs, and we when they were doing the cookbook, they got in touch with us about some artwork that we had on the Handwich, which was a sandwich cone that was pretty famous in the late 80s and early 90s, and asked if we could connect them with the guy who had the high resolution artwork for that, and he did, which got us a credit in the book. Also, a few months ago, when we had our Retro Magic event, our stage event in Florida, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, actually, the Disney reached out. A representative Disney reached out since we were going to have Debbie Dane Brown, who was the first Walt Disney World ambassador when the park opened, as one of our guests. They wanted to present her with her 50-year name tag. And since she was going to be at our event, they reached out and said, would it be okay if you set aside a minute or two while she's on stage for us to surprise her and have the current Walt Disney World ambassador come up and surprise her with it? And so they did. And it was a really, really nice moment. So those
That
are,
gave me goosebumps.
yeah, those are a few examples of times where, we I don't want to say work together, but have cooperated with each other.
Right, cooperated. That's cool.
Yeah. Anything you can think of, Todd? I mean,
I think you hit on the big ones. I mean, the other thing we have to say thank you for Disney for they've cooperated with us a lot on the requests that we've done down in Florida for our events. We were able to rent some boats from them. They just for us put an old Magic Kingdom riverboat into the lake. It may have been running at the time, but we were able to commandeer one for a day and make a couple runs for a lagoon tour with folks. And they helped us bring the Handwich back twice now at our events. They've been very welcoming for us to come there and talk about Disney and on location there. So it's been it's been great working with them, and we really appreciate their entire operations team working with us.
Cool. Number 7.
I actually saw the history of the Hamlet by Mr. Kevin Perger from Defunctland.
Oh, Kevin Perger from Defunctland did it. The history of the Hamwich.
Oh yes,
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he included me in that video, so I was,
now we got to go back and watch.
yeah.
I think I got your name in the credit.
Yeah, I was. He identified me as Disney historian, Brian Miles. I said, I guess I'm a historian now.
There you go.
Yep. Okay, back on topic now.
Sure.
Can you tell my friends and viewers about your podcast and Retro WDW? Where can people find and listen to it?
Excellent question. Well, the best way to do it is actually to ask Brian at the end of this, because he will take us out. But we'll put him on the spot. But the great thing of what we've done is that Retro WDW is our handle or name on all the major social media sites. So if you look at us, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, everything is at Retro WDW. And then that is also our website, retrowdw.com. And that's and look, we've got on the screen, I was just about to go into it. You're perfect with your timing. The other half of it, because Retro WDW is really the archive, and lbvhistory.org is the website that explains our mission and has donate buttons and all the great stuff. And that's the whole the kingpin in it, so to speak. That's where everything starts from. But Brian has the best way to take us out at the end. So when you're done, Emma, you need to say, Brian, take us out. And
there we go.
Okay. That's how I end every podcast, is by running through all the contact information.
So when you're ready, Emma.
Your ending.
Yeah.
All right, number 8 then.
Where are okay, sorry. My mind was a little off.
That's okay.
You are also on YouTube. What shows do you produce? And how can you decide on your topic? And what archive video to share with your viewers?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long one.
Yeah.
Well, I missed YouTube in that. So yes, we're Retro WDW on YouTube as well. We really have 2 types of shows and videos that we produce on there. One are all of the different tapes and media that I mentioned earlier. We have a backlog of over 120 or so we still need to upload, and I think we're upwards of 200-300 films and home movies and clips and all sorts of stuff. The second type of show, which really has more of a topic, is what Brian mentioned earlier, our movie nights. And we've done about 15, 16 of those or so. And those sometimes have a theme. If it's around a particular time of year, we might say, hey, it's a holiday party, come on in. We play all holiday clips or people's home movies from Disney World around Christmas or something. We'll also just sometimes put out a little questionnaire like, hey, these are the 5 films we got. What do you want to see on the next movie night?
Cool.
And sometimes there are ways for us to share some special productions. We have done 2 special productions already in what we call our Revisited series. And that is where we take multiple copies of ride-throughs of old attractions, and we try to get the best audio possible. We enhance the video and do a lot of things to it, add photos and everything, and give people the best uncut ride through of an attraction that is no longer with us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we've done 2 so far. We did Horizons Revisited. That was the first one. The second one we were working on and completed was Kitchen Cabaret. And I am in the works of doing Journey into Imagination. It's about 90% complete. It's hard to find the source video, so some of this stuff is like really, we're pushing the limits of what we can do with technology. And there is another secret project that I am working on that I can't talk about, but should be a fantastic one when that comes out. So, Brian, anything to add?
I noticed the theme, they were all Epcot.
Well, it's funny. We've talked about this on the podcast, and Brian was very astute in bringing this up, is that, in the 70s, the film being expensive and not able to capture things in low light, you didn't have Dad bringing the camera to river country or lugging it into attractions to sit there and film it all. We do have a lot of Country Bears footage. It's very dark and muddied and hard to see. The attempt at Tiki Birds, Brian knows we have enough Jungle Cruise footage to, oh my goodness, 100 times over.
The outdoor attractions, the riverboat, the Jungle Cruise,
plenty of it.
Lots of that. Inside, people tried to shoot the Mickey Mouse Review, and some of the the motion rides, really not at all. There's no Peter Pan or Snow White or any of that.
No. Because you would get the occasional if you had wings and Mission to Mars, but it's generally a quick pan up and down. So the problem there is just, when you got to the 80s and people had video cameras, they could let that thing run. And so you had a little more source material.
Yeah, you went from getting 3.5 minutes from a film cassette to 2 hours from a videotape. So then you just have, dozens and dozens of minutes of nonsense on video cassettes.
And that's a lot of what we do. Is like we'll get a videotape from somebody, and it's like 2 hours of birthday parties and
people walking around and
oh my God, or holding the camera upside down. You're getting feet the whole time.
We get those.
Or start to finish stage shows, like if they're the Beauty and the Beast stage show, which is still running. From the mid-90s, you'd have videos of it where someone would literally shoot the 20 minutes of pre-show entertainment of guys walking around selling popcorn. The entire show from start to finish, and then the theater emptying out, and you've sat through an hour and 10 minutes at this point of just, this videotape just running and running. And now I think we're back to, there are people who have these small digital camcorders now that especially bloggers will go in and will document a ride from start to finish in high definition. But regular people and parents, and it's gone kind of to a different extreme again now, where everything is shot on the phone, in little like 30-second clips. And so we just talked about on our podcast that's about to get released. We had a conversation during it about what's going to happen to those videos in 20 years. Because, they're on your phone, and who's remembering to save them? So I think it'll be a different kind of archivist in 20 years looking for these videos of when kids were little in the 2010s and 2020s, because there aren't any 20-minute videos of them at karate class or anything like that. They're all little clips.
They're all TikToks.
They're all little tiny clips.
Or YouTube create short.
YouTube what?
Create short.
Creates.
YouTube.
YouTube created shorts. Okay.
Right.
Exactly. It's for the
and all that stuff. But I remember there was a site called what was the one that did the little 6-second videos? It's terrible. That
MTV.
No, Daddy used to have the app on his phone. It was 6 seconds, and it was boop, and that was it.
And they were, some of them were great.
Yes.
And it's terrible that I can't remember the name of it right now.
Well, we utilized it when we were in South Carolina.
I used to use it all the time too. And then the site went away. It was sold, and the site went away. But they said we're going to leave all the videos up, and that lasted for about a year. And then
Vimeo.
It wasn't Vimeo. It was
Okay.
oh god, I'm not going to remember it right now, but I'll think about it while we're talking. But the site ended, like, all the videos when it were lost if people didn't
Right.
save them, and so not that that's going to happen to YouTube or whatever, but it could, in
Right.
20 years time, YouTube could be old news, and all those videos could disappear.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, and we on the podcast we discussed that we're lucky enough to live right now, able to find flea markets and auctions and things, people's videotapes. Nobody is going to be auctioning off anybody's cloud storage
Right.
when
Right.
the family is done with their archive. So YouTube has become a cloud archive of our current
Vine.
history.
It was called Vine.
Vine.
Oh, Vine.
That's
There
it.
you go.
Fun.
Good
I knew
job,
it
Brian.
started with a V.
Yeah. I
There you
literally searched for defunct video sites, and it was the first one that came up. It's Vine.
Emma
Is it
forbids
still
me.
there?
No, Emma forbids me for bringing my phone upstairs, so I couldn't check.
Okay.
I've never seen that name a lot, Vine, in the past.
Well, back in the 20 teens.
Yeah, like the mid
Daddy and I,
2013, 14. Yeah.
when we had the PD Foodie podcast and stuff
Yeah.
like that, we would do vines for Facebook. We would record the vine and Daddy would upload it to the PD Foodie Facebook page. Okay.
Oh.
Oh. All right. Number 9. Ooh, we're almost to the fun ones.
Well,
They've all been fun.
They were great.
well,
Number 9.
is it
Number
right?
nine.
I ask you a question after we're done?
Yeah, absolutely. You can.
Okay.
Let's stick with the ones we got.
Okay. What are your future
Oh.
plans for LBVHS? Also, are you planning events around the 40th anniversary of Epcot?
Our
All
future
right.
plans for LBVHS are we are planning an event for the 40th anniversary of Epcot. What a
I mean,
perfect question. That
Awesome.
is our plan.
That's right.
Oh,
There's our plan.
We're Todd and I are probably about 2 weeks away from getting started on saying, all right, let's start working on this.
Oh, so that's
oh.
are
Yeah.
y'all planning it for the
As
first?
late winter. It's not gonna be
Okay.
for October 1st. No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
It'll be what we have found is that the weekend of the actual anniversaries, it's better to just kind of leave Disney, and there's so much going on
Right.
just to
Yeah.
kind of let Disney and their people do their thing, and then we are 6 months or so later
Right.
and give people plenty of notice, and so we know it's going to be end of February, beginning of March. We'll be doing something down there in Florida and start putting guests together and all that. And he and I sometime in July have to work on that. So
And you said, what are your future plans for LBVHS outside of just the immediate of getting as many films as we can do, doing another movie night, our podcast. I think also larger too. We want to figure out where we can start storing this and maybe eventually displaying it, other than our our events, and get some more people to curate this. Not to coin the phrase that Epcot used in the beginning, we want to leave a legacy that stands, right? We will leave this stuff behind and make sure that we've got a good team of folks behind us. So when we retire, or Brian and I just make guest appearances to the Retro WW podcast, we've got a good set of folks behind it. So
we become like Ben and Jerry. We stop making the ice cream. We just show up for public events.
Yeah. Will we still drive a funky van, Brian? Will we still come down in the funky van? Yeah,
Maybe
we will. So we
Cool.
need our own ice cream now. So yeah.
Now
Ooh.
I'm for that.
Today's
10.
National Ice Cream Day, I heard too.
Really?
So after National Donut Day, we have National Ice Cream Day.
No,
Oh.
Apparently.
It's
Oh, wait a
horrible-
minute.
These are horrible holidays for diabetics.
I just looked it up. It says it's July 17th, so I don't know.
Yeah, I have that
yeah,
Disney
'cause
ice cream
it's,
video that I
okay.
share on National Ice Cream Day.
Okay,
so,
yeah, so it's definitely not today. Okay.
no.
Okay.
I apologize for
Okay.
getting people excited.
All right. Go ahead.
How can people learn more about LBVHS? And how can they support your mission?
Well, I'll run through all of the so as Todd said, on Instagram, Twitter, on Facebook, we are at LBV History, or at Retro WDW. Either of those will get you to our website, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook pages, and you can contact us through there. You can reach out about volunteering, reach out about donating films or artifacts that you might have, or questions that we can answer, or about donating financially or supporting us financially. We've always got a couple of cool things up there. There's t-shirts that Howard Bowers, who's our resident artist, designs every month. And then periodically we make these, as I said, ornaments and other keepsakes. And the current one that we have a supply of is from the Hollywood studios. Before they built Star Wars Land, they had the water tower, the Earful Tower.
Oh,
Yes.
The Mickey Mouse shaped tower. We have it in the early years. They used to put a Santa hat on it at Christmas time.
Yes.
And so that's what we have available on the site right now, with other things in the works. So
Guess what your mama's going to be doing after we get off of this interview?
How much?
I'm not going to tell you. Okay, are we ready for the fun 5 questions?
Oh, can't wait.
Oh gosh, she's getting
I love
creative.
I got it on my daddy.
You did. So
Okay.
down number 11.
All right, here we go. Now, are these for both of us?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. If you could have a 1-year supply of any Disney Park snack, which snack would you choose?
Oh,
You
easy.
You
Easy.
first, Todd. You first.
Citrus swirl all the way. Citrus swirl.
The Dole Whip?
No, not but the citrus swirl, not the true
Okay, the
citrus
citrus swirl. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the frozen orange juice and
Juice and
vanilla
frozen-
soft serve.
Okay.
Yeah.
mixed
Okay.
together.
I'm sold. I'm done. Brian, over to you.
I'm gonna, even though I'm wearing my dinosaur Gertie shirt and I love soft ice cream, I can get it at home. I would go with egg rolls, either from the China Pavilion or from Adventureland.
You know, Brian, when we were there, I that last day we were down for, I ventured over there, and it was at 10 o'clock, and they did them to 11, and I missed getting them, and now I'm now you said egg rolls. I'm like, now I got to go back and get egg rolls.
Yeah, the egg rolls, the Adventureland egg roll cart, before it became a big famous thing, one of my favorite stops. So
cool. Sushi.
Sushi's a good choice.
Yeah.
Either that or Millet Butter Popcorn from Main Street.
Yeah, she likes Main Street USA popcorn.
Okay,
well, that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
I loves popcorn.
I love their Rice Krispie treats. Oh.
Just happy with a Diet Coke or coffee from Starbucks.
Okay.
Number 12.
Look. You could live in any Disney Park hotel or resort for a year. Oh wait, sorry, for 1 year. Which hotel or resort? One?
Resort would you choose?
What did you choose?
Daddy put these in doing something else, so don't worry about it.
Brian, want to take that one?
Well, yes.
I know where you want to live in Disney parks.
Where I wish I could live is there's an apartment that's fake over top of the 50s Primetime Cafe that looks out onto Echo Lake and where Gertie is.
Really?
And it's got a lovely little bistro set out there with a couple of bottles of Coke. And I always tell people that's my house. That's where I want to retire. So that's the fake one.
Okay.
The real one, I'm like between Yacht Club and Polynesian. I'm very, very torn between them. I would think Polynesian, just for the general beach availability and being able to look at the castle every day and all. But it's very, very close. I love them both.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Todd.
I have to ditto on the Polynesian. That's probably where I would end up. It's one of my favorites, and Brian brings up a great point. It's right there. The theming is great. It's just always feels like you're away from everything, even though you're so close. there are resorts that are further away, feel like you're closer to the craziness. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'd have to second Brian there on the Polynesian. If you've made me pick a second, Brian will laugh, but he knows that I take a short walk over to the Grand Floridian and just pamper myself for a year. But
let me ask you a question.
but I wouldn't. I would only stay at the DVC wing. I wouldn't go into the main building.
I don't think you've ever stayed at the yacht club, though, have you?
No, and I've walked through it a number of times. It's on the to-do.
Yeah.
It's I think it'd be right up our alley. So, I bet you my next day I would change my
Yacht and Beach for the pool alone.
Yes, there you go.
There's a strong pull for Yacht and Beach. So
and you're walkable to the boardwalk. I mean, there you go.
Right.
I'll get the Aqua in Hollywood Studio.
Yep. Take
Yeah,
the boat
exactly.
to either or walk to them.
Cool.
I keep walking.
You
And when you
choose
have that-
walking?
Yeah, 'cause I can run.
I
When you
choose
have
I choose riding a scooter because
there you go. And Brian, if you have hankering for like Caribbean jerk chicken, you could just jump on the Skyway and get yourself.
That is true. You got the Skyway there now too.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
So maybe I'm gonna flip and put Yacht Club first.
there you go. We'll visit each other.
Yeah.
13.
well, not mine.
Oh gosh. Emma, if you can live in a Disney park resort for 1 year, which one would you choose? It's only one of two. You say, depending on your mood, I know which two they are.
The Contemporary.
The Contemporary.
Okay.
I got when the third resort we stayed at when I was 2.
Her first visit
Oh.
to Disney World was the
I'm sorry,
Contemporary.
I was 4.
You were 4.
Right.
Not 4.
You were 4 when we took you to Disney World for the first time. And they upgraded us. They saw her cute little curls and they upgraded us. And our room was the last one facing the park. You open the curtains and there's the castle and there's Space Mountain.
Wait,
Nice.
that was the one that was torn now, right? For White Tower?
No,
Oh.
no. We were in the tower, the concourse.
Oh, we were in May Lake already?
Anyway, number 13. Her second choice would be Animal Kingdom Jumbo House.
Oh,
Jumbo.
never been there yet. Never been there yet.
Oh, site place for all 5 senses.
Yeah.
That's a if I could be must do Disney Stacy, that's a must do. Staying at Animal Kingdom Jumbo House.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Back on topic.
Yes. Sorry.
That's okay.
I can go down rabbit holes a lot.
It's
Yes.
okay. I
That's
think
all right.
they've noticed. That's all right. No worries.
We do that too.
We go real deep, way too deep sometimes.
Yeah. If you could build any Disney park or Kraken or go in your backyard, or maybe a parade, which Disney park or Kraken or go or Cloud Parade would you do?
I mean, if you're adding parade in there, I'm building Spectro Magic.
Yeah, that's a great response. I
Like,
mean, I don't know how the neighbors will feel about me running that every night, but
they'd have to get over it.
Yeah.
If it was an attraction, everybody is. My favorite Fantasyland attraction is Peter Pan's Flight. So I think I would probably build Peter Pan's Flight.
Cool.
it's funny. I only want part of an attraction. I think I would just take one of, because I love going down there. I love the experience, and I think I would just take one of the cars from the Grand Prix Raceway and park it in my garage and just tool around my neighborhood whenever I want.
There you go.
And honestly, it's a cheaper overall endeavor for me. I'll put the money towards the gas. So
There you go. There you go.
I hear a doggy.
yes, the family just got home. They were doing some driving lessons, and the dogs are very excited. So
Oh, cool.
dogs heard that they're home. So
Tell them the congratulations for me.
I will. It's
All right.
almost
Tell
ready to
them
drive.
what you would build before we go
Uh-huh.
on.
So, can you get the picture, Mama?
We don't need to do that. Just tell them what you would build.
Uh,
Oh, jeez. Go ahead. Start your story.
I will build the big world climate. Yes, I call the big world.
The ghost house.
There was
Disney
a
World
satellite image of the haunted mansion from atop, so you could see the entire
Okay.
show building, how large
Yep.
it is.
Gotcha. Yeah, you need a lot of money.
She wants the Disney Magic Kingdom haunted mansion, but with what Disneyland edition? Hatbox Ghost.
Oh, Hatbox Ghost.
There you go.
There he
We
is.
Look
were
at that.
so
Yeah.
hoping for the 50th. They would, even if it was just for the 50th, they would include the Hatbox Ghost in Magic Kingdom.
I bet we'll get for the 50th for the whole America.
Maybe.
And she's fascinated with this gentleman. Because he's the announcer. He's the ghost
Paul
host.
Frees.
Paul Frees.
Yep.
Yeah. Paul
Okay,
Frees did so many different voices on Scooby-Doo and everywhere else. A fascinating guy.
He's even in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes. Yeah, he was him, you know, I mean, it's the same way today, but there's this handful of great voice actors from that 50s
Era.
through 80s era that just show up in everything if you know to listen for them.
Right. Earl Ravenscroft.
Earl Ravenscroft, and they were all in the Disney rides there.
Yeah.
Go get egg. I can't see.
Exitencio. Yes.
Exitencio,
Oh, yeah.
the music. Yep.
I actually now know to pick like the focus their game voices and pirate.
You got to repeat that slowly.
Okay. I actually now know.
Notice their voices in the attraction.
No. I actually now know how to frequent their singing voices in the song.
Oh, you
Just
can
their
pick
distinct
them out.
pick
You
them
can
out.
pick them out.
Yes.
Yep.
Good for you because you do a better job than I do.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Okay.
Oh,
Number 14.
okay. If you could only visit one specific Disney park for the rest of your life, which Disney park would you choose?
Oh, can we put a year on that too of what year the park has been made? Because that's
If you can only
and how
visit
old am
one
I? And how old am I in this dream? Oh,
I mean,
wow.
Epcot before 2000 would be my choice, but
That's where I was
since then it would just be Magic Kingdom. I would
Yeah.
go to Magic Kingdom.
I have to agree. Yeah, just the sheer magic of it and just the different things that you can do there. So much to do. Plus, I'm living at the Palm.
That's
all
right.
that
That's
time.
right. You
That's
oh,
true.
that's right.
Take a boat
Yeah.
or the monorail over.
Exactly.
and-
It's just really convenient, you know. So
Have either of you been to Disneyland?
We have, yeah.
we were actually there together at one point too for a
Yes.
day. So
We come to this. We went for the first time in 2019, and Kevin and Emma like to say I'm not the big Disney history buff. I am, and I'm not as much as they're into it. We're walking under the train trestle going into Disneyland, and in my mind I'm going, walk here.
Yeah.
And I'm tearing up as I'm walking under the train tracks. I went, how pathetic am I? But there's just something about Disneyland. When we rode the rides, you know, there's several Disneyland rides that we prefer over the ones we've been riding for years in Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
There are a lot.
I don't know if it's because it was different. You know, I like the 2-seater seat side by side and for Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And it's a much smoother ride. Yeah, we like the 2 drops in Pirates. We also like the Blue Bayou scene because it's in New Orleans Square where Kevin and I are from originally.
Apparently, the fireflies are actually light bulbs.
Yeah, the fireflies it's a great effect in the Bayou scene. Yeah. And the people eating. You know,
Yeah.
that's a great effect too. They look realistic. The people sitting there, the people sitting there having their lunch.
Well, that's like when you go on the the 3 Caballeros. You see
Yeah.
the people
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
Mexico.
Animatronics there is great too. You go in the 3 Caballeros, it looks like real people having lunch.
That's right.
In a very dark place.
Yes. Well, both of them are very dark.
Yeah.
Okay, boat ride.
So they both want to they want to just visit Magic Kingdom. Cool.
This was wild.
She and I are Disney. All three of us are Disneyland people.
Okay.
And hope to go, and we hope to go back next April for her 25th birthday.
Well,
okay, here's the
Awesome.
biggie. This is the thought-provoking one.
If you could get down with Walt Disney today and ask him what question would you ask him?
Did you really eat ice cream every day? No, just kidding.
I know.
Oh, goodness. What would I ask him? See, a lot of people will say, do you like what's here today? You don't know, because you don't know if this is what he would have built, and he might love it. He might love it. You know, he put IP in the parks, so you can't yell at him there.
Right.
I think I would. The question I would ask is just something along the lines of, how did you work so well with people to be able to get in their minds and allow them the creativity? Because one of the key things here is that Walt knew how to manage people, and he knew how to let their creativity run wild, but still at the same time control it to what he wanted, and that takes a lot. So how did you do that? That's where I would go.
Cool. About you, Mr. Brian?
I would ask him what his favorite pizza topping was.
Mine and tea.
At least one of us went with a deep question.
Yeah.
The deep dish question.
I mean, the most thing.
Well, he was born in Chicago.
Exactly.
So.
That's where I was going. It's a deep dish question. Yes.
But I really would be interested to know, when he was live, he was changing Disneyland constantly. Things that he put in, he ripped out and replaced. And since then, it's become something of a like, oh, you can't touch these things because they were Walt originals.
Fan favorite, or
right. So I have a theory, and I respect my own opinions, that he would have, after he built Florida and seen that castle, that he would have taken down the castle in Disneyland and built a bigger one, and build a much bigger one,
right?
Of a bigger scale. Whereas today's Disneyland fans are rabid about protecting tiny little, roadside attraction castle. So I would be very interested to be able to ask him, what do you think of that castle now, once you've seen the other one? That's what I'd like to ask him.
In other interviews, we've had three former Imagineers. The most recent one is Kevin Lively, who still lives in California. And he said Walt was all about change. So if Walt would walk in Disneyland, he'd go by the tiki room. Why is this still here? Why is that still there? Why is that's what his philosophy was. He I can't say that.
Philosophized.
Thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. Well, we often also forget that park changed. When he passed away, it was a different park than when it opened.
Yes.
There were no longer free pony rides, and there was no longer fishing and this and that. Miniature Wonderland or whatever the heck it was. All that stuff had changed and all those things. So it was always going to evolve. So to lock something in time and say it can't change, if it doesn't change, Brian or I are done. We have no podcast. We got no.
Yeah, there's nothing for us to talk about.
Right. So we need change, and life is full of change.
That's cool. Emma always says she'd ask him nice if she could have a hug. I'm sure Uncle Walt would let him. He's everybody's Uncle Walt. Uncle Walt would let you give him a hug.
That's right.
I think.
What about Roy now?
Well, we used to ask the question Walt and Roy, because Roy's rarely credited for WW, and it was he came out of retirement because Walt was the fourth one born of the 5 Disney kids.
Yeah.
the third or fourth. So Roy was the eldest, I think. So Roy retired, but came out of retirement to build Walt Disney World, which his idea was to add the Walt to Disney World and to add the lake in front of the Main Street USA, so people would have to park away from the park, like unlike what they did in Disney, we used to park right in front of Disneyland and walk in.
But not anymore.
And now it's California Adventure.
But how did they do that when they were filming Painting Baker Bank? How could they do that?
They trust me.
Movie
Seven
magic.
Mr. Banks is one of our favorite movies.
Movie magic it was.
Movie magic.
Yep.
Oh,
You can't know all the secrets.
I want to. It's Movie Magic very good.
It is. Okay, Emma. What do we do now? We say what?
Oh wait, didn't Mr. Brian have to say his other thing?
He does, but we need to thank them.
Oh, okay.
Just a little reminder.
Well, okay. Thank you, Mr. Brian. Thank you guys for coming on my show.
Absolutely, Emma. Thank you very much for having us. It was a great time.
It was our pleasure. It really was. This was great.
Okay, so let's let Mr. Brian sign us out his way.
Okay.
Yep. So you got to tell Brian, take us out.
All right.
Tell him. Say, Brian, take us out.
Brian, take us out.
All right. Follow Todd McCartney and Retro Disney World on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Retro WDW, and the Lake Buena Vista Historical Society on all 3 platforms at LBV History. And you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Brian P. Miles, or Todd on Twitter. And are you on Instagram? I forget, Todd.
No,
at WDWMS, which is his original handle for Walt Disney World Made Simple, which was his book that he wrote 25 years ago or something like that, which was his guide to the Disney parks when he was in college. So
my gosh, it's 30 years since I started that now. We'll do a reading. We'll do a reading of the first edition.
Yeah, please do that.
Thank y'all so much, gentlemen, for taking time out of y'all's busy days and evenings and spending an hour with the Talking Mickey Project.
Awesome.
Wait a minute.
What?
Let me end it.
Well, you gotta say you can't end it. You gotta say goodbye first.
Oh no.
Emma, thanks a lot. I
Goodbye.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
We'll see. Bye-bye, everyone.